Hi, everyone. Welcome to our session, NetBackup for Openstack. I'm Alex Restrepo with Solutions Marketing, and in just a second, we'll have Doward Wilkinson come on. But I just want to give everyone a heads up. We will be having live Q&A throughout the session, and we'll be doing our best to take those questions live at the end of the session. So stick around for that. So here we go with Doward Wilkinson on Openstack with NetBackup. Take it away, Doward.
Thank you, everyone, for joining this session today, NetBackup for Openstack. We're really excited to present and announce NetBackup 9.0 for Openstack. So why Openstack? You know, the rise of cloud environments has shifted the way we think about virtual environments, permanently raising the bar on our expectations for resiliency. In the cloud, distributed applications are responsible for all their own resiliency and are independent of the underlying infrastructure. When all your systems integrate into this architecture, it really works well. However, as more companies move existing workloads to public or private cloud environments, that lack of resiliency really becomes problematic. It's common for production clouds today to hold a mix of new or native solutions and traditional applications, making data protection really critical to that environment. So over the past decade, Openstack has matured significantly and gained an awful lot of traction among small and large organizations alike. So Openstack was architected to be one of the first really true cloud platforms. However, most IT workloads today, as said, are sort of a mix of cloud native and traditional applications. So IT administrators have been challenged really how running these types of applications in OpenStack environments. How do they manage that? And they have to consider some of the differences associated with cloud environments. So some of the market drivers associated with OpenStack is why people would actually go to OpenStack is high demand. It's easy to use and it's pretty quick deployment. People are adopting clouds, whether again, public or private. And for those who want the flexibility of going to a private cloud, it has a high adoption rate and it's immensely flexible. And you're not locked into any one vendor. So if you want to use another distribution within OpenStack, feel free to do it. You can do that. And then there's sort of what's driving that whole cloud environment. So some of the market trends are increasing adoption of smart devices. So we have billions of smart devices out there that are generating immense amount of information. This immense amount of information is really hard, really expensive to put into a public cloud. When you start talking about petabytes of data and thousands of VMs, it really makes sense to start looking at a private OpenStack cloud that gives you the flexibility to take advantage of all of that data. Things like big data analytics for OpenStack. So more and more companies are using data analytics to manage their buying habits of their customers. So OpenStack is a really good platform to go out there and build out these environments on and actually manage your costs. And it has a wide community of support. So you can go out and if you run into a problem or you need an API or you need some feature, the OpenStack community can actually go out there and in many cases, build it for you or at least consult with you somewhat on that. So companies spanning the Fortune 500 or the Fortune 1000 in industries such as telecommunications, financial services, healthcare, government, they're all moving towards a more open architecture. They don't want to get locked in based on open source technologies. Cloud-based infrastructures are now central, a central component. People don't talk about, I'm thinking of going to the cloud. They are going to the cloud. But does it always make sense to go to a public cloud? or make sense to build your own cloud. And that's really what a lot of people within IT are struggling with today. And OpenStack has become a top choice for those customers who want to go to a private managed cloud. So IT organizations really reached a tipping point on private and hybrid technologies. And they have achieved the reliability that it's imperative to find ways for them to make them a crucial part of their infrastructure. It isn't anymore the cloud, oh, security, various other aspects of it is questionable. It has matured. The question is now on cost and scalability. How do I manage those? So really, people are looking at moving to OpenStack really because IT is being pushed to innovate, modernize, and identify new efficiencies. It's not that easy. It's not very cost effective to say we're going to throw everything up into the public cloud. At some point, that doesn't make a lot of sense. So what is OpenStack? So let's just start with the basics. OpenStack is a cloud operating system that controls large pools of compute and storage and networking resources throughout a data center, all managed and provisioned through APIs to give you flexibility and access with sort of a common authentication method throughout. There's a dashboard available giving administrators control, but allows them to empower their users to actually own certain aspects of their applications. An OpenStack deployment consists of several components, or what we would call projects, providing API access to these infrastructure resources. For example, Horizon is the web UI interface that OpenStack offers. Then there's Keystone for authentication services. You have Neutron, which is for networking. So it's a software-defined networking project based on delivering network as a service. Then there's Nova for compute services. Cinder and Swift allows you for storage, whether that's object storage or block storage. And Glance services allow you to discover and register virtual machines. All managed and orchestrated by Heat, which is an infrastructure resource for cloud applications based on templates. And then you can have different other components. So OpenStack is just not limited to these components. These are some of the major ones, but there's many, many more, giving you the flexibility to design your cloud environment and meet the needs of your users. So NetBackup offers a better way to unify data protection everywhere. And with increasing complexity and critical IT environments, companies are looking for ways to fully protect their business while providing easier, faster, and more reliable recovery. People want to be able to recover at scale. They want to be able to recover quickly. They want a large amount of control over that environment. So as more and more enterprises are moving their applications to OpenStack, they are continued to be kind of challenged in that environment. They see that there's important missing components in their OpenStack environment, and that's data protection. So today we're offering NetBackup 9 for OpenStack, which is a really quantum jump for Veritas. We've been working on this, and now we're able to deliver a significant new and improved OpenStack environment for those customers who are considering or have OpenStack environments. Why NetBackup for OpenStack? Well, you want to protect the environment without impacting your applications. So we talk about the idea of a native OpenStack solution. So companies, when they're making this digital transformation, want to become more operationally efficient. They want to provide a differentiated customer experience. They want to develop new and innovative data-centric solutions out there and develop new business models. NetBackup is the heart of the Veritas Enterprise Data Services platform, and it's promising to protect the world's most mission-critical data. We have been doing this for decades. We have over 100 exabytes of data under management, and we have over 9.6 million people we're protecting today. Regardless of where it exists, NetBackup provides backup solutions across the breadth of your environment, and Openstack is no different. Backup applications, we offer snapshots and consistent snapshots, and when backups are run, they do not interrupt the environment. So the idea is that NetBackup for Openstack doesn't actually use much more resources. It's native to the tenant, and it works within the Openstack environment. So we provide DR, fast, granular workload recovery, end-to-end point-in-time recovery, and Openstack native experience, which is really important to those users who are in the Openstack environment. They don't want to have proxies. They don't want to have solutions that put agents into their environment. And NetBackup for Openstack is a cloud-native API multi-tenant solution. So we provide for non-disruptive backups of the Openstack environment. We capture all the workloads in our snapshots, and it's completely agentless, as I said before. One-click recovery. So NetBackup for Openstack provides a single click to recover, whether it's at the VM level, the file level, all of your workloads. You can rest assured that NetBackup for Openstack will recover those workloads efficiently and at scale. And then offering the self-service aspect of it. So many administrators want to give DevOps, others within their organization, the ability to manage their own applications. They want to give them the ability to set their own policies. NetBackup for Openstack offers this advantage. So again, the operational efficiency, so self-service, management control of workloads. You protect them from things like data corruption, data loss, quite frankly, homegrown scripts. Many customers out there, or many users of Openstack, are running what we would call, homegrown types of scripts. And they can go out there and they can do that. But that level of automation using scripts is nothing near what we can offer with NetBackup for Openstack. It allows you to manage all from the Horizon GUI, and it's a repeatable process that allows you to make sure that your customers are comfortable that their data is being well protected. Cloud native, software defined, and NetBackup for Openstack was designed to integrate with Openstack from day one. It's capturing point-in-time snapshots along with complete Openstack configuration, so tenants can seamlessly recover their information and restore their workloads to their original state. Reduce cost and risk and complexity. This is really important. So in terms of reducing cost, going out to a public cloud provider and providing thousands of VMs out there and hundreds, if not, well, many petabytes, if not hundreds of petabytes in some cases, is not cost effective. So customers who are trying to build large solutions, really transform their environment, need to be conscious of the costs. And Openstack and NetBackup with Openstack helps to relieve and reduce the risk associated with going to a private cloud and the complexity associated with making sure that you can back up those environments. You can restore them for DR purposes. You can restore them for migration purposes. There's any number of ways you can use the snapshots that NetBackup for OpenStack takes advantage of. So it's a fully orchestrated solution that will allow you to do what you need it to do. Non-disruptive NetBackup for OpenStack. So what does it provide? So cloud native, API-driven, multi-tenant solution. And these are the things that backup administrators and OpenStack cloud architects are looking for. This is table stakes. It natively integrates with OpenStack Cloud. It has a built-in tenant-level controls. It integrates with Horizon, the OpenStack UI, right out of the box. And administrators can have a complete view and visibility into the OpenStack operations from a single view. It efficiently creates, stores, and manages point-in-time backups. And it allows for fine, granular workload recoveries, whether that's an individual file, an entire VM, for DR, upgrades, and migrations. So NetBackup for OpenStack's architecture is unique, and it includes what's called both a control and a data plane. The control plane is implemented as one or more VMs that include a highly efficient orchestration layer. The data plane is spread among compute nodes as a simple stateless data mover. Every compute node runs a data mover, and it is responsible for backup and recovery of the VMs running in that compute node. And NetBackup for OpenStack service controller is a virtual machine hosting the service logic. It controls and orchestrates the backup and restore processes across the OpenStack cloud, and it's configured using a high availability cluster. The data plane mirrors the VM placement, as you can see, algorithm, and scales as your cloud scales. The control plane can be scaled independently based on the number of VMs. So we offer a tremendous amount of scaling, and every compute node is responsible for their snapshots, all managed through the Horizon interface and managed as part of NetBackup for OpenStack. We have built-in clusters that eliminate single points of failure, and NetBackup for OpenStack can be scaled independently based on the number of VMs to meet cloud scale. And that's really important. We have to be able to meet cloud scale, because when customers or enterprises go to NetBackup for OpenStack, or go to OpenStack, in fact, they are looking at tremendous scale there. So many of you are asking, so what's different between our old version, because we've had NetBackup for OpenStack for a while. So we've had in the past agentless full backup instances and availability zone and multi-cluster support. But now we've supercharged NetBackup for OpenStack. Look, clouds, it's kind of difficult to appreciate the fact that we're moving to clouds, and it comes up in every conversation. And OpenStack is part of that conversation. And so we've really taken advantage of taking NetBackup for clouds to provide things like role-based access control with Keystone integration, quota integration, load balancing, incremental backups, backups to storage of your choice, NFS, S3, easily test and backups prior to recovery. And you can integrate into the NetBackup Web UI, Horizon, and CloudForms UI. There's application consistency, so we support most of the major applications right out of the gate with NetBackup for OpenStack 9.0. Oracle, MariaDB, Sybase, SQL, MySQL, SharePoint, all supported within NetBackup 9.0 for OpenStack. And one click to restore an entire environment. There a single VM, instant mounts to new locations or availability zones and migrate to new clouds. And then, of course, charge back for your tenant usage and consumption. NetBackup for OpenStack, which is core to the Veritas NetBackup data management solution, which is a core component of the NetBackup data management solution, can recover workloads from data corruption or data loss, providing organizations with significant improved RTO and RPO. NetBackup for OpenStack provides end-to-end recovery among workloads, whether they're virtual machines, individual files, and as always, empowers the backup administrators, developers, and QA with what they need to operate efficiently. Cloud native and software defined, NetBackup for OpenStack was designed for OpenStack in mind, capturing point-in-time snapshots along with the complete workloads to their original state in a way that no other solution, quite frankly, on the market can do or match. NetBackup for OpenStack is a software-only solution, so you can take advantage of repurposing hardware if you decide to go to an OpenStack environment. We do not have dependencies on hardware. NetBackup for OpenStack allows you to take advantage of the overall NetBackup family of products, being on Gartner's MQ for 15 times and over thousands of reasons why NetBackup for OpenStack is a great solution out there for you. It's not just your workloads for today, but your workloads for tomorrow. So no matter where they live, whether they're in OpenStack or some other solution, NetBackup 9.0 is the solution that you need to supercharge your backups, and especially supercharge your backups within NetBackup 9.0 for OpenStack. So I'll take any questions now. I'm sure there's plenty of them out there. And I want to thank you for attending. And I want to encourage you to start to consider OpenStack. And if you have an OpenStack implementation, make sure that NetBackup for OpenStack 9.0 is something that you'll be willing to take a look at. And we have the SEs and sales organization to go out there and explain this to you.
All right, Doward. Well, thanks so much for that session. A lot of good stuff in there. Guys, everybody that's on here, feel free to engage in the Q&A, and we're happy to take your questions live here. But I know, Doward, I know I had a question for you. One of the things I noticed was that it seems like it's a really light footprint to interact with these systems in terms of how NetBackup gets involved. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Because it seems like it's pretty easy to get it interactive and working in the environment.
Yeah. Thanks, Alex, and thank you everybody for joining today. So to answer that, yeah, it's OpenStack. The nature of OpenStack is that it tends to be lightweight and API driven. So the solution that we've developed and are continuing to develop has really taken advantage of those features within OpenStack. So it is lightweight in terms of its agentless. It's completely API driven, and it takes advantage of the multi-tenant aspect of OpenStack to give administrators the ability to go out there and delegate certain groups, whether that's DevOps or individuals, the ability to go out there and manage their own backups. Because as we know, especially in a DevOps environment, sometimes they're constantly taking things down or reinitializing it. And the real beauty of this is that we can back up or take advantage of the fact that we not only back up the data, but all the metadata associated with that. And that's really significant, because it's one thing to just say, okay, I'm going to get the backup of the data. But for a DevOps type of environment, they want to not only have for example, the data in many cases, but they want to make sure that they have the actual IP that they were using and various other aspects of it. So it's really a significant, change and solution that takes advantage of really why people are embracing OpenStack. And it ties into the greater NetBackup story. So
when you're
sorry.
Yeah, just when you're talking about how it's taking in more than just the data, I think this is really getting to the heart of like a real point in time, right? Where it's an actual complete point in time of the entire system, not just the ones and zeros that make up the data that's being written. And I think that is a change. That is an evolution there.
Yeah, it's really significant in the sense. So typically people take advantage of OpenStack because they want to reduce costs, they want to reduce their risk, and they want to be agile. It's all about agility. And these environments, generally speaking, are really large, and they have lots and lots of tenants out there. So we alluded to a little bit that if you were trying to do this manually, it becomes a bit of a challenge. But you know, as you automate it, and getting back to your question, is that the ability to go out there and capture all of the metadata associated, the features associated with that individual tenant, and there could be thousands of tenants, is really a huge step forward in making sure that your OpenStack environment is not only flexible, but it's resilient. And really, that's the theme. So tying it into the greater NetBackup environment is really a step in the right direction. And as we start to evolve this over time, we'll be adding more and more features into the solution.
Well, and I think this, to a certain extent, this mirrors a similar relationship we've had for over a decade with VMware, right? In a lot of the same ways that we interact there, where it's really driven by exposing the different sets of APIs, plugins, whatever you want to call them, but basically the native capabilities of both systems. So NetBackup plugging into a VMware environment, this seems similar from that point of view.
Yeah,
and
we're
I think
not doing anything new. We're taking advantage.
No, this is good in the sense that it's a well-worn road. And so not only in the sense of it's something we've done before, but also in the sense of deployment model. You mentioned adding in more features. Certainly over the decade and a half we've been doing VMware backups, the feature set has obviously improved over time. And so this is similar, is what you're saying, in terms of roadmap for OpenStack.
Yeah, absolutely. Because in the case of OpenStack, keep in mind that there is a large community who's constantly adding features to the OpenStack environment, and they're addressing issues. So if you go through and you're building out an OpenStack environment and you're stumped on something, or something is not working out the way you expected it, the OpenStack community jumps right in there, and they will, in some cases, actually code or start to look at that and give you a lot of feedback. So you have a whole community of people who are driving this solution. And so for backup and recovery and resiliency of it, really, you want to make sure that you have a scalable option that really takes in advantage of the growth and the features of NetBackup. So it's another workload for us, and it's we've really taken the next steps to supercharge that workload.
And we're at time, but Doward, thank you so much for the presentation, and thanks everybody for joining. Have a great Conquer Every Cloud event.
Thank you.